What is up, everybody? This is Austin Live and Local. I am your host, Brian Kern, as always, here with a very lovely and talented DugFinn, aka Oddish. I was going to introduce her as Oddish. You may have recognized that already since she's done up. We are here at Dreamhack Austin 2018, getting ready for the cosplay competition, and DugFinn over here is the cosplay coordinator for the entire event. So she's been told. She has probably 5 or 6 different titles that she could be referred to as.
I wear many hats, but in this particular day, it's leaves.
It is leaves, and it's a fantastic hat. So, well, we're gonna get straight to it. You're coordinating the cosplay contest here. Right. You do it with South by as well and other bigger events. Yes. How has this event been so far? I saw you busting your tail yesterday, signing everybody in and getting everybody prepped for it. So how's it been so far?
Well, the great part is that so long as you do a lot of your prep work correctly,
yes,
the amount of fires is minimal. And so far it's actually been really calm and easy. And I mean, I have the cosplayers to thank for that. Was really happy and lucky and blessed to see a lot of really great cosplayers coming back for this event. So yeah, everything's been going really great so far.
Awesome. That's awesome. So we actually had the opportunity to work with the cosplay portion of the event pretty closely. Went out and did some promotional events, and we're able to get a bunch of people just really interested into it. And you guys have some awesome prizes that you're giving away. I believe grand prize takes away how much?
$700.
$700. And then what are the other 2 prizes that they're also giving away?
So it's actually, they change every now and then.
Right.
I may be wrong, but it's like 500 then 100, and it's money spread between first, second, and third for both masters, novice, journeyman, and then we also have kids awards. So we have a lot of awards.
So you have different stages of how pro these cosplayers are.
Yes.
We saw a little bit of them yesterday. I noticed a couple of them walking around yesterday. We saw Master Chief. We saw a bunch of different Fallout characters. But today they came out in droves, man. And you got a lot of people with a lot of talent out here. We actually caught some footage of a couple of different people. Some lady said that she had spent over 5,000 hours on her costume. Wow. And then we met a couple that were doing their first contest. So this is really bringing in a whole wide range of people under one roof. Was it hard putting the promotion out there and getting people interested? Have you seen a good success turnaround with cosplay here in Austin?
So Austin has always been great to us in terms of just bringing out the top of the best. Sometimes people are like, oh, what are your numbers? And we're like, well, we've got 40 people, for example. And they're like, only 40 people. And I don't think they understand the level and quality of some of this work. I mean, we have, for example, Team USA is here. It's really, really just beautiful outfits that do come out.
When you say Team USA, what do you mean?
So they were actually outside a little while ago. I don't know if you saw them, but it was like the Final Fantasy, like the judge outfit and stuff like that.
Okay, I might have missed that one.
And I might even be able to go out there and flag them down in case you want to say hi or something. But they represent USA in some of these competitions, like for example the World Cosplay Summit, things like that. I don't really want to say too much about them because I don't know what I should or shouldn't say or what I'm allowed to.
Hey, no, that's fine. That's fine. But the fact that you can, I mean, if we're bringing in the team that represents the country and this kind of stuff, it's got to be a big deal.
We don't bring them in. They entirely
the
choose.
Itself, right,
yes,
right.
The contest,
so they see some sort of value in coming out to Austin and supporting the community out here, which is awesome. And
it helps that they're local.
Oh, there you go. So
Austin is just it's just filled with so many great cosplayers that's why we are just so lucky that they can come out to events like this.
So that was my next big question, because a running theme for Dreamhack has been community building. Yes. We actually spoke with Peter Perez, who's marketing and advertising for the event. And when he was on the podcast, he was talking about how it's really important that everybody kind of spreads that community vibe amongst one another, because there are a lot of people that are maybe reluctant to get into different types of hobbies, but they also maybe aren't aware of the community that surrounds them.
Oh, yeah.
So the community building aspect of this event has been one that's been, I think, very strong. What are you guys doing in terms of the cosplay community individually to try to spread awareness about it, get people involved? Are you doing groups? I know that there's a couple Facebook groups, but are there meetups? What do you guys do?
Yes. So one thing that people may or may not be aware of is just like every other community has their core group and then people that join in every now and then. The awesome thing about cosplay is that they are so willing and accepting of new people to join, and they're willing to help them both with their outfits and with their skills, and they share a lot of the just technology. I mean, it's a weird way to think of it as
Right.
technology, but it's like, hey, did you know that if you take EVA foam and do this and this to it, it suddenly looks like real armor, and things like that. And that's something that I have found that is not as open in other communities. For example, like if somebody finds a technique that gives them a leg up, they may try to keep it secret in order to do like a lot of like, oh, I'm going to win, but I'm going to keep my opponents from winning. But in the cosplay community, there have been times where it's 5 minutes before stage time, and you have somebody who's a runner-up for a master's category, and they're going to get first, second, or third or something. Like they're going to win something, and then a mishap happens. Something like, oh shit, a part of their, I don't know if I can say that.
No, you can say whatever you like.
Okay, it's like part of their cosplay like malfunctions, and you have people all around them in direct competition with them just come together to do their best to put it back together, just to be able to get it on stage and for it to look good. And I don't really see that level of camaraderie in many other competitive events. Which is, I mean, it's wonderful about cosplay. So because of that, the community is very strong. There's lots of events that happen outside of conventions, like weekly meetups, monthly meetups. People will meet up at each other's houses. You may not, or restaurants, or just even like Joann's will sometimes lend out their back rooms just so people can come together and work on projects. Like it's a very close-knit community where everybody knows everybody. And if you don't know everybody, you know the friend of the friend that knows the person that knows that person. Like everybody knows everybody. It's really great. And so, yeah, the communities are very strong.
We did a panel yesterday that had a lot of collegiate representatives for esports out here, and they were talking about community building. And one of them referenced, we're actually going to be interviewing him later today, his name's Brennan. He referenced that being a very cutthroat culture in certain areas, and a lot of people do share their secrets. And if they think they have like that golden ticket, they're going to hold it tight to their chest. They're not going to spread that awareness. And he spoke to that being something that needs to go to the wayside if they expect the esports community and the gaming community as a whole to expand and become a tighter knit, more mainstream, because that's their end goal. I think that's something that that's just a constant message through all of the facets and all of the things that we get in Dreamhack. The gaming, those niche cultures that are now blowing up, becoming mainstream, seeing the success that people have and seeing that camaraderie amongst the people that are involved, I think is going to not only help boost those communities, but it's also going to spread a more positive message or a different type of awareness surrounding it.
Well, not even that in and of itself, but it also makes not just the community stronger, but it makes the technique stronger. It makes the scene stronger in terms of, for example, I'll give you a quick example. 10 years ago, you saw somebody with today's average level cosplayer talents, armor, or even, just even craft building, and you would be like, oh my God, that is the best cosplay I've ever seen in my life 10 years ago. Now it's considered like standard, normal, baseline. And the reason why is because everybody shares their techniques. So everybody as a whole, the community as a whole, improves their skill, and it just keeps raising the bar more and more and more. And so when you have a new person come into the community, they're almost inundated with this barrage of just information that is both on websites that they can get on forums or in meetings or in person or even at conventions, and they have this beautiful stepping stone that they can just climb up the ladder of and improve their talent, their skills, and you wouldn't have that if people didn't share their experiences or their knowledge.
And with it being just a booming business or
and now you have entire businesses
all over the place, and it's every month they're doing some sort of competition, and it seems like they're also integrating cosplay into other focused events like gaming, like bigger concerts, bigger weekend festivals. So it is, man. It's
not just that, but also businesses. There are entire businesses that cater to cosplay. I was at Joann's, one of the little companies that is inside of Joann's, McDougal. They had a magazine that they put out, and it's got, stuff that you would assume your grandma, like quilting and stuff like that. And they have an entire page dedicated to cosplay materials, and it literally has the word cosplay on it, and they'll have like classes advertising for it. And you're like, this is a legitimate company. They're in Joann's, and they're labeling their stuff specific for cosplayers.
Using the term
cosplay, and you're like, that was unheard of. Like, and now you stop the average person on the street and you're like, do you know what cosplay is? And they're like, isn't that thing they do at Comic Cons where they dress up?
Yeah.
They used to not eat, they'd never even heard the word before. And it's just, and it's same with gaming, it just goes to show that people are starting to take this not just seriously, but it's also they're aware that it exists.
Yeah, and you're also getting you get different aspects, I think, along with the cosplay. Someone in particular that we pay attention to is Megan Turney, who's actually going to be doing some of the judging for the competition.
Yeah, she is one of our judges.
And the photos that she does in her cosplay, she's off in exotic lands. She's in Iceland, looking like the chick from Game of Thrones. She's all over the place, and it's not just the simplicity of her mimicking a character or looking like a character, but it's all the work and the effort that's put into the environment to actually dialing down the details and being a character to where you're traveling. You're putting in this exorbitant amount of effort to recreate something, and a lot of people are just recognizing how much talent and skill really goes into it. And you do get people that are new and fresh into the game, and they're creating costumes that you would expect a pro to make.
Exactly.
We work with a couple in California that have maybe been doing it 2-3 years, and they've got pro-looking costumes. I mean, to me, they're pro-looking costumes, but I'm also noob to all this.
Yeah,
so I
that
don't know.
moment when you're like, wow, your outfit looks better than the one that they made for the Hollywood movie.
I mean, and when you can get those average, because to me, I would say I'm a mediocre cosplay fan. Like, I follow a lot on Instagram, and I'm into it, but again, I'm into it for the aesthetics. I don't build the costumes or anything like that.
It's an art that you can appreciate.
It is. When you see someone and you're scrolling and you think you're looking at like a movie poster or a scene from a movie or a show, and it's actually someone just dressed up and doing something really cool. I mean, that's awesome. It's fantastic. So you blew me away earlier when you said that you've been doing this for 18 years, right?
Yes.
You had to do this whole number counting thing, and I was like, 18 years?
Since 2000. We're in 2018. 18 years.
So what got you into cosplay? What kind of took you down that road, and what makes it?
So, and this is actually part of the whole community thing we were talking about. I've always been into the whole like Halloween thing. It's like, oh my God, who cares about Christmas and Thanksgiving? This is the month that I get to be who I want to be. And so that was my kind of like little beginning intro. And I think that is for everyone. But then I saw on the internet these two cosplayers, Limit Break Cosplay, I will never forget. And their level of cosplay just blew my mind. And I remember thinking, I want to do that. I want to be that, because they became the characters. And so it's like nowadays you see these people who have never done cosplay before, but they see somebody and they idolize them, like, oh my God, that is beautiful. And then they're told by those people, you can do it too. And it's like, and you're just like, oh my God, I can. And so when I saw that, I was like, I can do that. I want to do that. And so I started, working on it. And it took me the better part of, I'd say, like 5 years to even create an outfit that I wasn't ashamed to show, like, in competition. And I mean, you should never be ashamed to show any of this, but like competitive level outfits.
Yeah, you don't want to be called out on something or maybe think that you're not up to speed.
I was telling you earlier, it's like you have your work cosplays, the ones that have to be mobile to work around in. Then you have your con floor cosplays, which are the ones you just, dick around with your friends. And then you have your competition cosplays. And those you only bring out when you're ready to like, don't get me wrong, guys. Some of these outfits that you think in your mind, you're like, how is that person walking around? And you're like, well, that's because they only do it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
across the stage.
Or they're just there for the pictures and for the
or I know some people that have these gorgeous outfits and they'll work months and months and months to get these done, and they'll wear it for an hour at the convention. And that's it. That's all they can handle, because they cannot physically stand the strain of wearing it for longer. Yep. And that's because it's such an intensive outfit. And not just that, but also you don't want to be stopped literally every 30 seconds for photos for hours on end. It's very tiring. You need to eat after a while. But what I'm getting at is, that's what it was. It was seeing somebody else's beautiful outfit and thinking, oh my God, that I want to do that. I want to do that. It's kind of like when you're a little kid and you see you're watching football or something, and you see a player and you're just like, that's my idol. It's like, I want to try and do that. And then you go to, high school and you're like, I'm going to be on the football team. And then you realize,
you're at Comic-Con, and it's cool.
Yeah. And before you know it, you're like, being scouted, and you're just like, wow, the dreams do come true, except this is cosplay.
Right? No, but you are kind of living the dream within the dream, because you get to fantasize and be in this weird realm of creating this different character. And then you get to go back to being you, and you get to kind of pick and choose what to do. do it. So it's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So you're obviously a cosplayer for life. You're a lifer.
Oh, yeah.
Apart from coordinating this event and actually being involved behind the scenes, what are you excited for? Who's here that you think is going to steal the competition, or that you think has showed up and really brought their A game? We've got lines forming outside. We're going to be getting interviews and stuff before and after, but people are packing the place out for this competition. So it's going to be a big deal. Who do you think's going to come out on top, or who do you think's going to come in with something to
Honestly, I don't want to say, because I don't want to either jinx it or like, okay, I have zero to do with who wins.
Yep.
And all I'm gonna say is like, these are my friends. I hope they win, but I have no control over that. So I don't even want to get into that.
Okay. No.
But I know that the judges are phenomenal. I mean, they're pros, beyond pros. So they're going to pick the perfect winners, and the people that win are going to deserve every bit of what they won.
Very cool.
So yeah, I'd rather not, like, I don't want to jinx it.
That's totally fine. What's one costume that's kind of blown your mind already that you've seen? Ooh. I saw this lady that was walking around in like this orange mech suit.
Oh yeah, with all the LED lights?
Yes, and the gears and stuff were moving behind her, and she was walking around. She looked very uncomfortable. She looked like she was out of her element, but she looked like she was having fun. That's been probably my go-to. Or the Predator. The Predator dude's pretty
yeah. So I'm a huge fan of Predator. So as soon as I saw his outfit, I flipped out and screamed across the hallway, and I totally forgot that I was in charge of things, and I just fangirled for a little while. He because I don't have my badge on or anything, and he's just like, "Who is this?" Like, you know, just like
going crazy,
right? So I'm actually gonna I don't know if he'll win. I'm not going to say that he is. I'm not going to say that he's not. I don't know. It's up to the judges. But so there's a cosplayer. I know him as Joe. He's a buddy of mine, and he actually won the last event I was at. Sledgehammer cosplay, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you guys talked to him, and he's got like the armor on and everything. The last event he was at, he won plane tickets to Japan. That was a Japan Festival of Houston.
Very cool.
And so I was super excited to see him, on stage accepting the big giant check award to go to Japan. And so it's like, he doesn't know this yet, but I'm totally going to find out when he goes, and then also go there and just coincidentally meet him in Japan.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Be like, June!
Right. So she's dedicated.
Right? You're here too? Wow! No.
What a surprise. Oh. I didn't book my plane ticket after yours and follow you.
Right? But that is one of the issues that I sometimes get with a lot of these calls, because everybody knows everybody and we're all super, tight. I have to make sure that people understand I have no control at all over who wins anything. So just because
disclaimer.
There's
no inside business going on. This isn't boxing.
Yeah.
I'm not rigging it.
I'm never the judge ever.
The judges have been labeled. They're famous people. They're known in the community.
Yes. But so I'm excited to see all these people go across the stage. We have some kid cosplayers. Oh, there was this one kid. I can't remember the kid's name because they're new. They're this is their first time competing, but they made their outfit. They're like 13, and it's really nice level craftsmanship. And sometimes you get these kids that come in and they're like, yeah, I'm 10, I'm 12. And you look at their outfits and you're like, oh, did your mom help you with this? And they're like, no, I made it. And I'm just like, and you think in 5 years, you're going to be terrifying on stage, the scale can only go up.
That's something cool that's a cool perspective to look at too, where it's going to go from here.
Yes.
Especially with technology, you see a lot of people using drones, implementing different types of equipment and
or 3D printing.
Yes, I was going to bring that up when you mentioned
Yes.
costumes and people sharing their ideas or techniques that work best. We actually work with a company, Dead 13. They're going to be here later for it. One of their guys that runs that just got a couple 3D printers, and he's been making all his equipment through it. And that with that technology and the way that people are sharing their information, we're going to be seeing some crazy shit within the next 5 years. I don't doubt it.
Oh, yeah. And then some of the stuff that they've come up with that you never would have thought of. For example, you're like, oh, I can print a 3D object. Cool. Did you know that if you print a couple of layers, then put mesh netting, then print the rest of the layers, you can basically print 3D fabrics? Yeah, right? And it's just what? So and you never would have known about that had the person that figured that out not posted it everywhere. And people are like, oh, what? And then they share their files. So it's really awesome. I love this community because it is so open to the idea of sharing, not just their own techniques, but also any discoveries that they come up with.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm sure that it's going to be quite the sight tonight. We're excited about it. We're going to be doing interviews prior and post. And yeah, we're really, really excited for the turnout. It's been a blast working with the competition and actually being out and promoting it. And there's been some fantastic pieces out there. So if you guys are watching us through our live streams today, if you guys are keeping up with us, make sure to check out the cosplay competition. It starts at 7 o'clock. We're going to be in there probably with 2 or 3 different cameras rolling. And yeah, we're excited. Anything you want to shout out or share before we get off the air?
Whether you think you're good or not, go to a convention, just check it
They're
out.
fun.
Yeah, they're so much fun. And check out the cosplay competition. You never know when you see that one person and you're just like, oh my God, this changed my life. And you never know where it's going to take you. I never would have guessed like 18 years ago that I'd be here right now.
Yeah.
Like it was, I mean, you never would have thought this, you know? And I'm sure that some of these other pro cosplayers, you know, you ask them 10 years ago, would you have seen yourself being as a professional cosplayer? And they're like, no, never. You never know what's going to happen, you know? Enjoy yourselves. Just have fun.
Very cool. Well, thank you, DugFinn. It was awesome. Oddish, we really appreciate it. What were you saying? Oh, yes. So don't forget, Austin Live and Local on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We are going live all day. Did you have any social medias?
You can find me on Facebook, DugFinn Cosplay. And if you just type in DugFinn Cosplay into Google, you'll get all my social media.
And it's DugFinn, DugFinn.
Yes, DugFinn.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right, bye.
Appreciate that. Thank you for
Oh, yeah,
doing
no
that.
worries.